Hello, welcome to الكرامة News Service, and we start our top stories for today with current affairs in Libya. Parliament member for Ishfana Osama Al-Shafi'i announced that the delegation of the International Sanctions Committee arrived to Tobruk and met with members of the parliament. Al-Shafi'i said the parliament office has invited members of the parliament who are in Tobruk according to different committees to which they belong at the request of the International Committee of the Sanctions to meet the parliament members. The attendees stressed the need to impose sanctions on those who disrupt the dialogue and cause insecurity. They have also introduced the names of militia leaders. Concerning the names of some military commanders included in the spoilers of the dialogue list, Shafi'i noted that the parliament members stressed the need to respect the legitimacy of the people and the leadership, which the army is regarded as one of its most important entities. Tobruk area witnessed violent clashes between the youth and the people of the region and terrorist militia stations in التاسعة area. The official spokesman for Omar al-Mukhtar Operations Group, Abdikarim Sabra, noted that the vertical aircraft got out of Matruba airport to support the army, the youths and the people by bombing positions of Al-Fatayah and Al-Sab'a. There is no information yet about the size of losses among the ranks of terrorists militia. Daesh terrorists stormed a cave south of Sirte and kidnapped two young men following the killing of some elements of the group by unknown gunmen who opened fire on the car last night. Concerning the incident, which is regarded as the second of its kind in 48 hours, witnesses reported that two members of the group were killed after the unidentified gunmen targeted their car in the way of Dawaran Abu Hadi Island. Some of the terrorist group's elements faced a random shooting by youth of the region 2 days ago in Hawara town, and there was no any information about the attack that was followed by a raid on a number of homes that carried out by the terrorist group's elements. And still in Libya, British newspaper The Guardian said that the Foreign Affairs Committee of the British Parliament will start investigation into Britain's decision to intervene in Libya in year 2011 to overthrow the former regime. For his part, Chairman of Foreign Affairs Committee, Crispin Plant, said the intervention of in Libya and the subsequent collapse of the state was a devastating thing to Libya, and this is regarded as a threat to the world's security, especially with the growing spread of terrorist Daesh group in the country. Moreover, he noted that the aim of the investigation is the analysis of decision on which the 2011 decision of interference in Libya is based. The Libyan embassy in Washington said that the Appropriations Committee of the U.S. Senate adopted the draft 2016 foreign aid budget that includes provisions for Libya that worth $20 million. The embassy said in a statement that this aid will be provided in a form of training programs and logistical support in many fields such as education, military training, supporting fighting against terrorism and drugs, as well as preventing the spread of internationally prohibited weapons. Moreover, the statement noted that the Senate Appropriations Committee will refer the budget draft to the Council with a recommendation to authorize it. Moroccan police arrested two women suspected of belonging to a terrorist cell dismantled, and they had intended to carry out attacks in Morocco on behalf of terrorist Daesh group. The Moroccan Interior Ministry said in a statement that the two women forged in the former Al-Qaeda camps in Afghanistan and Pakistan territories. The Moroccan authorities announced Tuesday the dismantling of a terrorist cell composed of 8 active members in the cities of Danga, Bosniga, Gorbaga and Tutana. The Interior Ministry noted that the cell that has relations with the leaders of terrorist Daesh group annexed fighters who received intensive training on making explosives and guerrilla warfare in the group's camps. U.S. President Barack Obama stressed that Africa is moving forward and it's one of the areas which recorded the largest growth in the world. Obama's remarks came during an unprecedented visit to Kenya to attend the opening of a World Summit on increasing the entrepreneurship there. And now to the Arab arena, and now from Yemen, Saudi-led coalition forces announced today a 5-day humanitarian ceasefire will take effect in Yemen starting tomorrow as a request of exiled President Abdurrahman Mansour Hadi. A Saudi-led Arab coalition has been bombing the Houthi militia and army forces led to former President Ali Abdullah Saleh since March 26, aiming to push them back from southern and central areas and restore the country's exiled government. News of the ceasefire came after 80 people were killed in an airstrike on the central Yemen city of Taiz area today, in which at least 150 were injured. A week-long UN procured truce and fighting failed areas this month after Saudi Arabia said it had not been asked by Hadi, in whose name it's acting to stop its raids. A letter by Hadi to the King of Saudi Arabia on Friday asked for the ceasefire to allow for humanitarian supplies to be delivered to the war country. The latest ceasefire announced states that coalition forces will stop all military activities but reserves the right to respond to violations by the Iran-allied Shiite, Houthi and pro-Saleh forces. Humanitarian pause will take effect as of 11:59 p.m. local time for 5 days, the statement said, to allow for the delivery of humanitarian aid. And now to Syria, terrorist Daesh militants today detonated explosives-laden trucks on 2 villages near the Kurdish-controlled Syrian border town of Tel Abyad, with reports of casualties and monitor that tracks were said. The UK-based Observatory for Human Rights said the attacks targeting Kurdish YPG militia checkpoints in 2 mainly Arab inhabited villages on the southeastern edge of the town. Tel Abyad, a strategic location on border with Turkey, was taken last month by Kurdish forces from ultra-hardline jihadists in an advance backed by US-led airstrikes. The attack comes as Turkey dramatically cranks up its role in the US-led coalition against terrorist Daesh group after a suspected Daesh suicide bomber killed 32 people areas this week in a town close to the Syrian border, while also targeting Kurdish militants. This has raised concern about the future of the shaky Kurdish peace process. Turkey has been accusing Kurdish forces in northern Syria of driving out civilians in areas it occupies, voicing concern at the displacement of Arabs and Turkmen from the area around Tel Abyad. The Kurdish YPG militia has denied the allegations and urged civilians to return to cities controlled by Syrian Kurds, saying they would guarantee their safety. Syria's civil war has turned more than 3 million people into refugees, almost a fifth of pre-war population. And now my audience to Burundi. Burundi's Foreign Minister Alain Naimitov dismissed the international criticism of the recent presidential election, saying that what matters was only the opinions of Burundian people. Naimitov told the ACCTV in an interview in Addis Ababa, the Ethiopian capital, that observers were invited. Now, if organizations choose not to send an observer team after having been invited, then it's not out to the country which is invited to respond. It's up to the organizations to say why they didn't go. Naimit's remarks came as human rights groups and the African Union (AU) complained about Burundi's lack of cooperation and questioned the credibility of the election results. The minister added that the elections have been held and the people in Burundi have a chance to speak for themselves as to who should run the country. Now, we do not think it's up to anybody to disregard or misinterpret the choice made by people from a sovereign state. President Pierre Nkurunziza won 69.41% of the votes, casting the polls on Tuesday to have secured a third term in office, Burundi's Electoral Commission announced yesterday. And finally, from Ukraine, the White House said U.S. Vice President Joe Biden has welcomed Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko's proposal to create a 30-kilometer zone free of tanks, artillery and mortar systems along the line of contact in eastern Ukraine. The White House said in a statement Biden and Poroshenko agreed that Russia and Russian-backed separatists had still failed to implement the Minsk agreement, calling for a ceasefire and the removal of heavy weapons from the line of contact. Meanwhile, Alexander Haig, Deputy Chief Monitor of the Special Monitoring Mission to Ukraine, Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, OSCE has declared that Minsk protocol hasn't been entirely observed since they found heavy weapons on both sides of the lines of contact. It broke the related articles of Minsk protocol signed on February 12 this year. He also admitted that domestic non-governmental camps have withdrawn from Silentino village, or they have stalemated with government troops. The leaders of France, Germany, Russia and Ukraine have urged the fighting camps in eastern Ukraine to rapidly sign preliminary accords to withdraw weapons from the area. The four leaders stressed that the agreement regulating the withdrawal of weapons with caliber shorter than 100 millimeters from the contact line for 15 kilometers should be signed rapidly. My audience, that is the wrap-up of our top stories for today. For much more, you can check our website www.الكرامة.tv. Thanks for being with us. See you next time. My greetings.